All right, are we good to get going?
You are good to go.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us for our latest installment of Solutions for Success. Today's topic, collaborating with Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. So as most people will be familiar with, these are three components of Microsoft 365, and typically everybody with their licensing has entitlement to these. We at Point Alliance have been doing a ton of work with clients, especially through COVID, in trying to help them both educate, I guess, their users, as well as putting some governance around some processes with regards to collaboration and document management, helping users understand when they would use Teams versus when they would use SharePoint and OneDrive. And so John Zeri is going to walk us through some of that high-level information, and again, hopefully clarify for people on this call or for those to share with others within their organization. Again, the types of governance that is helpful and the reasons to use the different tools, and maybe some high-level functional tips about some of those as well. So I will turn it over to John.
Thank you, Jonathan, for introduction. Everyone, welcome to our July edition of the Solution for Success. We're going to start with a few slides just to give you a context of what we're trying to cover and what it's all about. And then we're going to jump into a live demo. We have the chat open. If you have any question at any point, please feel free to ask question, and we want to make sure all get answered. And we monitor the chat. That's it. We're just going to tell you a little bit about Point Alliance in case for those that don't know us, teamwork within Microsoft 365, which app when, and that's the question get asked all the time, and then live demo. So a little bit about Point Alliance. We are Microsoft Gold partner with the 10 competencies, which out of those 10, 4 are gold. We are very proud of that. The other thing that we also proud, we just had our 20th anniversary. Again, we were started about 20 years ago. It's amazing. 20 years. I loved every moment of it. And again, thanks to amazing clients that we had during this 20 years. So we still have the clients. We start from the day one, and we are very proud of that. And we have an amazing team at Point Alliance that allow us to kind of be successful and provide service to our client. So for more information, please, you can also visit our website under company profile. That said, a little bit about myself. Again, you can find me, that's my email address, my LinkedIn. And I was trying to mimic my pre-COVID hair. So I think it's as close as I can get myself to that. And so that's me. So again, Microsoft 365 and the collaboration. What is this teamwork? You know, again, every organization is different. Usually when I talk to clients that are new to Microsoft 365, I refer to the cloud as a jigsaw puzzle, right? And when we put a jigsaw puzzle together, we all do it a different way. Some people from corners, some people from the middle. And again, we are different, but there's no right or wrong there, right? So you can do it however fit your organization in that case. But the center of the whole thing is to communicate and collaborate, right? And of course, the under layer, the security that Microsoft provides us, which as the end user, we really don't have to think about it, right? Just because they're all in place. And one of the things that, again, that we get is that with the Microsoft 365, which app are going to be using to do what, right? Deciding that. And that's become a question for organization, again, that we're just are moving to Microsoft 365. So again, for the topic of today, we're going to be touching on a OneDrive, Teams, and SharePoint, which is the hub of all collaboration. And just to simplify that to a level, OneDrive, when you think of it, it's just me, right? You get access to the OneDrive, only you have access. You're able to share files or folders if you wish to, but by default, it's just you. Microsoft Team is me and my team, right? We collaborate on a project, we create a team room, and for those of you who are using Microsoft Team, you're familiar with that. That's where you collaborate with those things. And then the SharePoint is a wider organization. So when you think about maybe the human resources SharePoint site, or marketing and so on. So that's the general thing. And some of those could be collaborative, some of them be content that the user will consume. So just going a little bit into each one of those things, again, to give you some example, we did SharePoint, of course, you got site, you got portals, and you can create that. And I don't know, for those of you that attended our last month's SharePoint lookbook, Microsoft provide lots of different templates of those things. So again, the SharePoint site could be anything, right? So, and you think of it, it's mostly when you think of a SharePoint site, portals, and so on. And again, the human resources is a natural thing because every organization will have a site for that. That employee can look at the company policies, they can vacation requests and so on. So they all would go inside there, would be a central hub for that. Then we got the OneDrive for Business, right? So, or just a OneDrive. So again, this is your private space, as I said. By default, for any Microsoft 365 subscription, each user get minimum 1 terabyte of space, right? So again, that's lots of space. When you think of it, today when we buy a laptop, could be 256 gig or 512. That's twice or 4 times of your laptop. They did an estimate that how much page of Microsoft Word you can fit there. So you can put 85 million pages of the Microsoft Word to fill up the 1 terabyte of space. So again, plenty of space that for you to use on a personal use. And then Teams. Teams as a hottest application for any vendor in a modern era, currently have 270 million daily active users. Again, these are not subscribers, they're active users. And again, especially post-COVID, that has become a hub of the collaboration meeting that we have and the chat. And the whole idea is that we really want to get away from emails as much as possible, right? Emails are more formal. It's not really conversational. With the Teams, what you can do, you want to have a question, you can just drop a liner to have a chat with someone. It's make it quick. You can collaborate on a document and work together. So again, we will go into that shortly as part of the demo, and I show you how that works. And that's it. I'm just going to stop the share and then share my entire screen. So I'm going to go here and open my browser. All right. So one thing I want to show, so this is my Edge browser, and this is the conversation we have with people that, do I prefer to use the Edge or I prefer to use a Chrome, right? So the advantage with the Edge, first of all, it's called Edge Chromium because it's using the Chrome engine, right? So again, it is by itself, as you open a browser, it gives you so much information, right? So Microsoft has done a great job to provide the information, get you access to what you want the quickest way possible. So by just opening a browser, I can look at all the recent SharePoint site I've been to, the documents I've been to. Like this is the document I was working on. This was for our presentation and so on. So just a great way to start. And many times when I come here, I can get to what I want without even going to the need to go to the bookmarks of those things. But that said, let's just go start from OneDrive, as I mentioned. Again, the beauty of the OneDrive, you have access to it through the web, through your desktop, and through your mobile. And we do lots of the device management as part of what we do at Point Alliance for people. And as part of the device management, OneDrive get installed and become your default folder for your desktop and your document. And the fact that you don't even have to think about it, that you put a file on your desktop and it's automatically synced with the OneDrive. So you have an automatic backup, you have an automatic version control and so on. And in case you're mobile, let's just say you're in the office, you started on a document, now you got to get on the train, go home. You can open the same document on your mobile device and continue editing that. Now you reach home. Now you want to finish that document. You open your browser and finish that. And that's the beauty of the things is that really it doesn't matter what device and where you are, you should be able to work on it. And easily you can share with other people. You can see I have shared this document. The great thing about sharing through OneDrive, you have a full control of your document, right? So when you email something, you send an attachment, that document is gone. You have no control over it. With the OneDrive, what I can do, when I share a document, for example, so let's just go to the share this document. Or I should just share this PowerPoint. I'm gonna go here. You go, and by the way, my mouse is not normally this size, but I just want to make sure that everybody can see my screen here. So in case I did mention the point line has been around for 20 years. That's not the case. So I'm gonna go click on the share. I'm gonna find the name, so I can click on any name, right? So I'm gonna say Jonathan. But the great thing about this one, so this is just you select name and you can just simply say send, right? You can put a note, but the options you have here, you can make it that person cannot edit it or even download that document, right? So maybe you want to just let them to have a look at the presentation before you present it the next day. But you don't want to lose control of that document and just in case it's a confidential document leaks to other places. So as easy as that, then you select a person, you said they cannot edit, they cannot even download, they can open to see the document. So as easy as that. And let's just say if you did share the document to someone and now you change your mind, right? You say, okay, actually I want to retract that. So what you can do again, you go to the here to share, and you can go easily to look at what you have shared before that have access to that. And also you can retract that to remove it. So it's just a great way to work with. Then we're going to come to Teams. And again, Teams, imagine that most of you are using a Teams for many purposes. Again, at Point Alliance, we fully use Teams for many aspects. Of course, chat is there with the team room. We have our phone system also integrated to the Teams, so we can actually make the dial-out numbers right from the Teams or receive the call. And again, we are using Teams for audio, video anyway, that making a phone call is not any different, and just put them all under the same umbrella. So when you have a new person join your organization, you give them a license of the office, you give them a license of the phone, and right there, they get those. So within the Teams, we're not gonna go too much detail with all the feature of the Teams. We want to touch on the collaboration. So I created this team earlier today, and when you think about Teams, and again, the terms got confusing. It's called Microsoft Teams, and you create a team inside there. So when you think of the Teams, is an area that you collaborate with your team members, right? Maybe as a project that you have, and that project has different aspect, and that's why you create a different channel. Or you can think of a team as a filing cabinet. In the filing cabinet, have different file folders, and each channel could be that. So by default, when you create a team, has a channel called General. And when you create a new additional channels, by the way, what you can do, you can make that channel to be open to everybody that has access to that team, or you can make it private. That means you can make that team available only to subset of people that have access to that team, right? So that's give you that flexibility, because maybe the area, one of those area of that project is a budgeting, and you don't want everybody that has access to that team be able to see the budgeting information. So you can restrict it that way. Again, with the teams are very flexible. You can put announcement there. You can upload the YouTube videos if you want to. You can add a weather. You can have lots of fun stuff. But let's just in this case, we're going to go in and start working on the document together, right? And that's again, in the old ways, what we did. We want to create a presentation with the team members. We emailed our shell of the presentation to everyone. Let's just say 5 people. They added their own slides to it, then I'll email you back. And as the owner of the presentation, you need to kind of put them all together. And everybody had their own flavor of how they did it, and they were not aware of the other person. So again, not the best way to put a presentation together. So in this case, what we're gonna do, let's just again, when you're collaborating with the Microsoft Teams, and you can share documents like a Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So with the Office products, so you can have 1, 2, or as many as people you want to be editing the same document. As I said, either Excel, Word, or PowerPoint. One key thing you have to remember: the document need to be a modern style document. And again, for many years, probably people were not sure why the Microsoft past 2009 added the X to the end of the doc, or on the PowerPoint with the PPT was an X, or Excel X, those things. That means that the modern style document and has more features. So if you're trying to upload a .doc here and you really run into problem though, I cannot collaborate. That's why need to have an X at end that is a modern style document. So I'm gonna put a text here. I'm gonna go to attachment here, 1 second. And I just created this. So I'm gonna upload from my OneDrive. So earlier today, I had gone here and uploaded this document. So I'm gonna go back to here. I'm gonna select this document and I'm gonna share it as a link, right? I don't have to do anything, share as a link, and I'm gonna send this. So now what's happening, everybody that has access to this channel will be able to work on this document. So I'm gonna open this document. And again, it's all web-based, so you don't have to do anything. So I'm gonna open this document and I see Jonathan is already on it and he's editing that section. How great it is. Again, not very little effort. You put the pages, so I can go work on the other slide, right? So I'm gonna go here at the end. I forgot to put a question and answer. So I'm working on this page section. Jonathan is working on this and put some date there. And also we can put some comments. Just go here. Should I add a new slide? Devices. And then I can have another one. Security. And the great thing about these comments that you put here on the pages of those things, and you have a conversation, is that this stuff stays with the document, right? So just say there was 10 people that were part of this team, that only 2 of them are working right now. So if I close this right now, first of all, I don't have to worry about anything, right? So I close it, it save itself. So when I go back here and look at all the conversation, I can see all the notes and everything that's happening here, right? So it is just a great way of the collaborating. So the other person can also see what's going on and so on. And if you click on a catch up, it was any changes was done since you were working on it. You can click on that and it tells you, oh, that page was edited since last time you were in the document, right? And also you want to remove the comments and so on. You can go from there. So again, it's super collaborative things. So one other thing I want to show you. So we were working on Teams and I upload this one through OneDrive, right? So if I close this now, I'm going to go back to my OneDrive and look at this thing. It was updated a few seconds ago by Jonathan Hamilton, right? And if I open this one from my OneDrive right now, because I uploaded from there, if I open that document, it's the same document. It's uploaded here too. So that's the beauty of the whole thing. You don't have to maintain different things. If people are working on it, you always have access live to the latest version. But let's just say that you were working on this one and realizing a person deleted a slide by mistake or something need to happen. What you can do now, you can click here and go to version history, right? So you can look at this and say, okay, this was a version. I want to go back to that. I can restore it, open a file, or delete that version. And again, this is all with no effort here, right? Just happen in the background behind the scene, and that's how OneDrive and Teams and SharePoint work together. And again, we mentioned SharePoint, and I'm going to say, okay, I haven't seen SharePoint yet. So one thing behind the scene is that the engine behind or storage behind the OneDrive and Teams is SharePoint, right? So for example, what I did here, if I go to Files, I'll upload a folder here called Quick Start Guides, and I've uploaded a bunch of PDFs here. By the way, that's another way of sharing. Okay, if there's information you want to upload related to the meeting or to that collaboration, you can add that. So I added a bunch of the Quick Start Guide. By the way, if you're not familiar with the Quick Start Guides, they're amazing. It's provided free by Microsoft. And if you need a link to it, just let me know, or you can just search for it. So Microsoft done an amazing job providing this documents and so on. But let's just say, you know what, I want to open this one right in the SharePoint. So simply I just click on this. And again, behind every team, there's a SharePoint site as well. And you can see it's there. And the nice thing about it, because you might have a bunch of different documents, different channel. If I go to my documents, you can see it's also organized by channel. So if you have a multiple channel, I could see, okay, this is a general one, and this is in this library. Let's make it easy. And the one other thing that if you went right to the SharePoint site, not knowing it was a team attached to it, you will see an icon beside it that says, okay, this is a team-enabled SharePoint site. So again, not every SharePoint site needs to have a team, but every team will have a SharePoint site. Hopefully, I did not make it more complicated. Jonathan, you want to mention about the right management and security within the SharePoint?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great point, John, and something again that we are doing a bunch of work with some clients on, which is enhanced security. So some of our clients will have this in place from their on-premises environment in SharePoint, where they've added information rights management and encryption around files. So when we talk about locking down files and not letting them being downloaded from a SharePoint site or shared externally, that there's validation that goes on, even if you were to download a file and share it to a different email address, somebody tries to open it, it says, who are you? Can we authenticate who you are based on the wrapper around the file? And so in Microsoft 365, again, they've taken that even to a higher level, so that some of that same information rights management functionality exists, as well as Azure information protection, which can apply security based on policies and labels and other configuration across your whole tenant. So it can apply to Exchange and OneDrive and Teams and SharePoint and all these sorts of things. So again, another great example around data loss protection, and there's components that integrate with endpoint manager and device management as well. But definitely another area where we're actively doing work with clients, and clients are also very interested to hear more about it as they try and put more governance around their environment and just make sure that that all their sensitive information is as secure as possible.
Yeah, those are great points. And again, when you think of teams, I know lots of organizations run into the multi-vendor scenarios that they might using something for collaboration outside of Microsoft, using something in some cases for the meetings outside of Microsoft. One thing you have to remember, again, the security is paramount to the Microsoft, and the fact of that be able to protect your data in one central place that you have fully control, which you will not be able to have those with the multi-vendor situation. The other thing is that team is continually growing and is getting better and better. And again, there's many hooks that you can have into the team. So it doesn't mean when you work on teams, you're just talking about what do you call it, just a chat, meetings, and a collaboration. You know, with each team I was showing the files, I can link this one to the other SharePoint sites. One thing you also find with the teams is that other apps that work with this, and they're not just Microsoft apps, this list is growing in a very rapid pace, right? So you could be working with the other vendors also as well. That what you can do, you can come in and just hook that one so the information is presented. One example is, for example, Google Analytics. If you're in marketing, what you can do, you can have those information be published on a weekly basis or whatever frequency you want to one of the channels you have for your marketing. So even though not all team members might have access to that information, they could see the result of it here. Or MailChimp, like lots of organizations use MailChimp, and people looking for reports. How many open pages we had on our last thing. So instead of giving people access that they have to go to MailChimp, look at those information, you can have those information get published right to your channel. So you can create a special channel if you wish so, and that get updated weekly. So there's lots of opportunity there. So again, teams, again, it's just growing in rapid pace. And the fact of that right now, you can see I did this demo fully from the browser, right? The browser base is almost identical. So if I was going to hide the browser control on top, you probably wouldn't even notice I'm in the browser, right? So they've done an amazing job that the browser looks like a desktop. The mobile is great, again, on iOS or Android devices, or if you have a Mac users, right? So it's universal platform that works everywhere. That said, we only have a few minutes left, and if anybody has any question, we'd be happy to answer your question. I'm monitoring the chat, so please feel free to share any question you might have with us, and be happy to answer that. And as we're waiting for that, I'm gonna just stop this share and bring my presentation back again. And there's a few slides at the end that I want to show you, and go from there. Okay, quick start guide. I will post that one shortly, and it's going to be is part of this presentation too. It's going to be published shortly. So I do have a link to it on this, and I share that with you. Just as a housekeeping, we run this Solution for Success webinar on a Tuesday of each month. So the next month's events we have is Adobe Acrobat, how to integrate with the Microsoft 365, which is amazing, and the time saving there is phenomenal. For the people on the admin side, there's lots of jams that there are tests between the Microsoft 365 Admin Center that will be very beneficial to those that manage the tenants and so on. And we did touch a little bit on it, on the protecting the data with Microsoft compliance and data loss prevention. That is a session by itself, but it is phenomenal because, as you can see, in the old days, the boundaries was your office, right? You said we protect the walls of this office and everything inside is protected. But again, we live in a different times, and now we have to go to the whole different protection. What Microsoft has done, as Jonathan mentioned, we are on the file level. And again, it's not like always you have to go password protect the files anymore. Everything is contained within the file, the security. So if the file get leaked and go to the wrong person, basically, if the proper security built in around that, nothing they can do about it, right? They cannot open the file because the security was built as part of your environment. And that said, I hope you enjoyed today's session, and I will share the link for the quick start guide shortly as well, and I will send it to you. If you did enjoy today's presentation, please scan the QR code and leave us a comment or give us a review. We will greatly appreciate that. We still have a couple of more minutes, so if anybody has any question, I'll be happy to answer it for you. If I see a question coming, but for those that have to leave, I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar. I hope you find it beneficial, and we look forward to see you next time. Thank you.